You know those games where everybody stops what they're doing just to watch? That's exactly what's coming on Monday Night Football. Ravens versus Lions. And this one is all the makings of a battle. On one side, Baltimore's explosive offense led by Lamar Jackson. On the other, a Detroit team that keeps climbing and is desperate to prove they can go toe-to-toe with anyone. But here's the catch. The Ravens are heading into this matchup missing some key players, which means the margin for error is razor thin. To pull this one off, they'll need a near-perfect game plan. And that's where it gets interesting, because there are a few keys that could completely swing this showdown. If they hit on them, Baltimore can walk away with a massive win. But if they don't, things could get ugly fast. This isn't just another regular season game. Ravens and Lions are meeting under the bright lights of Monday Night Football, and both teams have the firepower to blow up the scoreboard while also fielding defenses that can suffocate you in an instant. It's the kind of matchup where every snap feels like it could decide the night, because both sides have the weapons to turn any play into a highlight. Two unstoppable forces colliding on the same field. What makes it even better is how evenly matched they are. On one side, Lamar Jackson leading an offense built on speed, improvisation, and big plays. On the other, Jared Goff running the Lions with sharp precision, leaning on playmakers who thrive attacking the middle of the field, and proving this team is one of the NFC's most dangerous. Mistakes won't be forgiven. One slip could mean 7 points the other way. And it's not just about offense. These defenses bring plenty of bite. Baltimore is one of the most aggressive units in the league, capable of flipping momentum in a heartbeat with takeaways. Meanwhile, Dan Campbell has built Detroit around toughness and relentless effort, a team that plays like the whistle never comes. That means every yard, every run, every pass is going to be earned the hard way. Put it all together, and you've got two teams that don't just want to win, they need to. Both sit at 1-1, and neither wants to dip below .500 this early in the season. That sense of urgency only raises the stakes, turning this Week 3 clash into something that feels like a playoff game. And that's why the Ravens' injury report looms even larger. Missing key names could tilt the balance, and that takes us straight into the next big storyline. The players Baltimore won't have on the field, and how that could shape everything. When you're playing a game this big, every absence matters, and Baltimore is feeling it this week. They'll be without some crucial pieces. Patrick Ricard, the unsung hero who clears the way in a run game. Kyle Van Noy, a veteran leader and pass rusher who brings experience. Nnamdi Matabike, a disruptive force on the defensive line. And Isaiah Likely, one of Lamar's most reliable targets at tight end. On top of that, Jaire Alexander's status is still uncertain, which could make the list of losses even longer. These aren't just names on paper. They're players who give the Ravens balance and stability. Guys like Ricard and Van Noy may not always dominate the headlines, but their presence allows everything else to click. Without them, the margin for error shrinks, and suddenly other players are forced into bigger roles. That can lead to breakout moments, but it also carries real risk. The silver lining? Baltimore built one of the deepest rosters in the league this offseason, and this is exactly the kind of situation that depth is supposed to cover. Younger players, especially rookies, will get their shot, but against a team like Detroit, every mistake is magnified. This will be a real test of how much that depth actually holds up when it matters most. And all of this ramps up the pressure on Lamar Jackson. He has to keep the offense steady without some key help in both the passing and running game. We know Lamar can put the team on his back, but doing it against a tough, physical Lions defense is another level of challenge. Which brings us to the first major chess move for Baltimore, shutting down Detroit where they're most dangerous, right in the middle of the field. If there's one area where Detroit thrives, it's attacking the middle of the field. Amon-Ra St. Brown is a master at finding space in traffic. Sam Laporta has already become one of the league's most productive tight ends, and Jameson Williams has the speed to turn a simple crossing route into a game-breaking play. Add in a ground game that loves pounding straight up the gut, and you've got an offense built to punish defenses that can't hold the middle. Roquan Smith, the heart and soul of this Ravens defense, knows exactly what's coming. He's talked about the Lions leaning heavily on play action, in breaking routes, and inside runs. For him, the mission is clear. Close those windows, stop the run, and force Jared Goff to find less comfortable options. alongside Kyle Hamilton. Smith has the ability to do it, but the pressure on rookies Teddy Buchanan and Malachi Starks will be enormous. Buchanan will be asked to handle some of the craftiest receivers in the NFL, while Starks takes on the center field role, making sure no deep shots connect. One bad read, one false step, and Detroit will make you pay. It's a classic trial by fire for young players, and their performance could decide how much success the Lions have attacking between the numbers. If Baltimore shuts down the middle, they force Detroit into a game they don't really want to play. But if they don't, the Lions will control tempo and turn this into a shootout, and that's a dangerous road, which is why the Ravens offense has to do its part by setting the tone on the ground, and that starts with Derrick Henry.
All right, we're already past the halfway point of this video, but before we continue, I noticed you haven't left a like yet. It's really important because it helps YouTube keep showing you my content so I can keep bringing you the best news about the Baltimore Ravens. So go ahead and hit that like button. It's free and it really helps. Thanks. Now let's get back to it.
The Ravens are at their best when the run game establishes itself early, and that responsibility falls squarely on Derrick Henry. Last week against the Browns, Baltimore got the win, but the ground game was shockingly quiet. Under 50 rushing yards as a team, and Henry held to fewer than 30 for the first time since late 2023. Against an offense as explosive as Detroit's, that can't happen again. Henry isn't just a running back. He's the engine that dictates the rhythm of the game. When he's rolling, the clock keeps ticking, defenses wear down, and Lamar Jackson gains freedom to attack through the air. Since the start of 2024, the Ravens are 10-2 in games where they win the time of possession battle. That stat alone shows how much control on the ground impacts everything. The key here isn't necessarily about Henry putting up monster numbers. Even a steady, consistent performance forces the Lions to respect the run, stack the box, and open up space for Baltimore's receivers on crossers and quick routes. That balance is what makes the Ravens' offense unpredictable and dangerous. But if Henry gets bottled up, the pressure shifts completely to Lamar's arm, making the attack more predictable. That's when exploiting individual weaknesses in Detroit's secondary becomes even more important. And there's one obvious target Baltimore should circle: rookie cornerback Terrion Arnold. If there's a soft spot in Detroit's defense, it's Terrion Arnold. Drafted in the first round in 2024, he hasn't lived up to the billing so far. His rookie year was plagued by penalties, and now, in 2025, the struggles continue with shaky coverage grades and an overall lack of consistency. He's still a work in progress, and Baltimore has the tools to test him. Zay Flowers is playing on another level right now, racking up yards and creating headaches for any defender in space. DeAndre Hopkins has proven he's far from finished, still winning physical battles on the outside. Rashad Bateman remains one of the crispest route runners in the league. Put that trio together with Lamar Jackson, who's off to a sharp start this season, and Arnold becomes a matchup Baltimore can't ignore. The idea isn't to take just one or two shots his way. It's to hammer that side of the field until Detroit has no choice but to adjust, force him into mistakes, draw penalties, and create chunk plays. If Baltimore can do that, they not only rack up yards and points, but they also tilt the whole defensive game plan in their favor. And when you connect all the dots, shutting down the middle, getting Henry going and attacking Arnold, you can see the exact blueprint Baltimore needs to steal this win. At the end of the day, this Monday night matchup is more than just Week 3. It's a statement opportunity. The Ravens have to prove they can overcome injuries, master the details, and stand tall against a Lions team that won't give an inch. Controlling the middle, feeding Derrick Henry, and going after Terrion Arnold aren't just strategies. They're the keys to turning this into a win that resonates across the entire league. So here's the question. Do you believe Baltimore can execute that plan and walk out Detroit with a signature victory? One thing's for sure. If they hit on these keys, the Ravens won't just win the game. They'll send a message that they're ready to chase something much bigger this season.
And if you, just like me, are passionate about the world of football and want to learn more about the Ravens' legacy, don't leave this video without sharing it with that friend who is also a Baltimore Ravens fan and will love this content. See those video suggestions on your screen? The first one was handpicked just for you, and the other is a recommendation from YouTube itself.